One of the many questions that Dr. McGee received had to do with the issue of suffering. So here now is Dr. McGee on the topic, Why Do God's Children Suffer?
I have a little book. The title of it is, Why Do God's Children Suffer? I mentioned 7 things in that book there that cause us to suffer today. And I think they're all valid reasons of why God lets us suffer. But the Word of God is contrary to what we hear today so much about, if you're going to become a Christian, you should read this book and you'll have joy in your life and everything's going to be rosy and everything is going to be so nice. And God's going to remove all the thorns from your roses and He's going to take the stones out of your pathway and life is just going to be a bowl of cherries for you. May I say to you, that's not true. God made it very clear. He said, in the world, you are going to have tribulation, trouble. But be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And it's hard to be of good cheer when you're having trouble, isn't it? That's what He said. And this is a promise He made you, by the way. I hear people saying, oh, you just ought to get the promises of God. Yes, that's wonderful. God's got a lot of wonderful promises. And one of the promises He promised you is, in the world you're going to have trouble. Are you having trouble? God hasn't deserted you. He's doing this to fashion you. Iron is heated to a red hot heat in order what? To bend it and mold it. And that's the way God has to do some of us. Some of us are very hard-headed. I tell you, He put me flat on my back with cancer to look up for Him to be able to say, now, Vernon, I want you to be quiet. I don't really have to have you. And if you want to serve me, you're just going to have to look to me more. And so, may I say to you, I listened, and I think I listened for the first time. May I say to you, friends, this idea today that something good's going to happen to you, I hope it does, but it may not. Let me pass this little poem on today, and this, by the way, is the one that is very famous. It's the one that has been given to us by a very wonderful person. I put it in my letter recently, by the way, and the title of it is, What God Hath Promised. God hath not promised skies always blue, flower-strewn pathways all our lives through. God hath not promised sun without rain, joy without sorrow, peace without pain. God hath not promised we shall not know toil and temptation, trouble and woe. He hath not told us we shall not bear many a burden, many a care. God hath not promised smooth roads and wide, swift, easy travel, needing no guide. Never a mountain rocky and steep, never a river turbid and deep. But God hath promised strength for the day, rest for the labor, light for the way, grace for the trials, help from above, unfailing sympathy, undying love. And He said, there hath not failed one word of all His good promise. May I say to you, friends, we're going to have trouble. You and I are in this world in which we live today, and there's no way in the world of escaping that. The thing of it is, we need to be fortified. We need actually to have on the whole armor of God, because really there's a battle going on, and we just happen to be right in the midst of it.